Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. The inspiration for today's video came from you guys, it came from the comments. So you've asked me to put together a video which talks about how to do client research, as in how to put together the client avatar. And then of course I'm going to teach you how to use that information to create amazing copy. So the biggest benefit and why it's actually important to put the client avatar together, it's because it will help you write effective copy. This is what makes the difference between just copy and copy that actually works and gets results for your clients. If your clients have good results, then you have good results because they will keep coming back to you and they will keep recommending you to their friends and other business owners. So you really want to get this part right. Now, in this video, I'm going to basically walk you through the process of putting the client avatar together. And of course, as always, I'm going to give you a freebie. Yeah! And the freebie is super amazing. So make sure you stay until the end. Now, without further ado, let's get into the client avatar. I lowered the camera a little bit so you can see that I'm not naked, because that's what it looked like. When you're putting the client avatar together, it's not entirely your job to do that for your client, okay? Don't get fooled into this, because you don't know what you don't know. Your client has so much more information about their product, about their ideal customer, and basically the way it should work is you're going to do it with them, not alone, okay? So the way I personally do it, and I think this is the way most copywriters or marketers do this part of the job, is we call our clients in for a meeting, and this usually would take maybe an hour. And we go through a document that will help. They basically fill in a document which talks about their ideal customers. So it could be, the demographics, which would include the age, the gender, the salary, the kind of job they do, the kind of books they like, the kind of interests they have, and also the emotional side of things. So like their fears, their desires, their problem, the pain points. So basically, the way I personally do it is I send a booklet to my client before the meeting, and I ask them to fill it in and have it ready for the meeting. And I ask them to send it to me like a day or two before the meeting so I can read it. And then together we sit down for an hour and we go through it and we talk about, because sometimes maybe I need to poke them a little bit so they dig a little bit deeper, or I need to clarify certain things so that I understand them. But that hour is not just for you. This is something the client is going to keep with them for literally the whole journey of their business, because as long as they're going to be selling that product, they will need to understand their customer. So you're giving them an asset, right? You're giving them a piece of research, you could say, on their customer that is basically going to serve them for a very long time. So that hour is totally worth the time spent, and it's going to make your job easier and it's going to make their life easier. Like I said, as a freebie, I'm giving you my personal booklet. So I will go through the things in it right now, and then later you can have the booklet, you can look at it, and you will have this video to complement the booklet so that you understand how to fill it in with your client and how to use the information later when you're writing your copy. So the demographics, like I mentioned, this will be basically a name, the gender, the job title, and whatever else. And this information is where a lot of clients get stuck, because they look at me and they say, hold on a minute, do you know how many different types of people buy my product? Like, I can't just say one name and an age, because I have women that are 40 and I have boys that are 18 that are my prospective customers. So how do you expect me to do this? So what you say to them is you want them to just imagine their ideal client. Okay, so this could be the client that's a high value client, so they keep coming back, or they make large purchases. It could be someone who recommends them to other people. You basically want the perfect client there, and it doesn't really matter what name you pick for them or what picture you put in the place for them. This is just purely to help the imagination of your client start working, and you as well. So when you're writing the copy, you can imagine that person, imagine you're writing to them. So the demographics, like, okay, they don't have to be perfect, but the more details you can get and the more deeply you can try to get yourself into the prospect's life, the better idea you will have of who they are, and then the better your copy will be and the more effective it will be. So that's the first part. And things like interests, like books and gurus that they follow, products that they buy. Listen, your customers should have an idea of who their customer is. You don't have to know this, okay? If they don't have an idea, you can do the research for them, but I'm gonna warn you that it might take you some time, okay? Like it's technically not your job, but it can be if you want it to be, and you can charge extra for it. You can say, okay, I will do this market research for you, but it's going to cost you this much. So the way you would find, for instance, what books this person is reading, like let's say, for example, that your customer is selling, I don't know, Formula One parts, or would somebody buy, I don't know, okay, let's just say the customers, I mean, yeah, of course, let's say, yeah, that your customer is buying Formula One parts. I don't know why I made this up. So what you would do to find out where these people hang out and what kind of magazines and books they read and who they follow, you would just start with a simple Google search, like Formula One parts, find out who it is that would own a Formula One car, that then they would buy the parts, and then you would, through that means, like look at the different media outlets that focus on those topics. Are there specific magazines that relate to this? Are there specific authors, professionals, you know, Instagram accounts, like where do these people stay? Where are they, right? Because we all kind of like to gather in these little groups where we share our passions. So these people will have their own little groups, so you just have to find it and then you have to get in it. So it could be Amazon reviews under books or products. It could, there you might get some clues. Could be Reddit groups, it could be Facebook groups, it could be Instagram accounts, it could be hashtags. That you just have to figure out where they are. Because for instance, a 60-year-old man is not likely to hang out on TikTok, is he? But he might be reading specific books and he might be ordering them from Amazon. You're welcome. So that's basically how you just have to get creative, man. You just have to play FBI and just fully go in there and find where they are, find what they like. Pay attention as well to the language they speak. What kind of words do they use? What kind of, they will talk about their pain points. When people write a review for a book, for instance, they will put down in the review literally why they bought it, what problem it solved for them, or how they felt disappointed. This is how you do market research. That's not the only way. So you might also, how most brands, most businesses do their market research is they actually ask. I know, right? I mean, that's so straightforward. You just, if your client already has a customer base, he can send out an email where he asks the questions. He can put a poll on their Instagram. I mean, there's just so much that he can do to actually go out to his customer base and get information from them. So he won't have to assume what his customers like. He can ask them and he can get the answers from them. So that's the most basic way any market research is done, through actually surveying people, sending out questionnaires, etc. Yes. Okay, so let's say that you put together this beautiful client avatar. It's juicy, it has all the information in it. Now what do you do with it, right? So basically, when you're writing your copy, you're going to have all this information, and this is what I do, but you can find your own way, or you can try what I do. I have the customer avatar, I read through it, and then I just sit down for 5 minutes, take a deep breath, just close my eyes, and I try to actually put myself in the life of that customer. Okay, just imagine you meet this person and you get to see, like you really get to see all the things they talk. You can imagine their mannerism, you can imagine the language they use to talk, you can imagine just how they live, what they do every day, and imagine that you're in a conversation with that person. How would you talk to them? What kind of words would you use to persuade them to buy this product? And this is really, in this moment, is when you learn how to connect the customer and the product. This is where you learn how to build the bridge, right? So I really recommend is that you just sit down for 5 minutes and just think about how the customer, the prospective customer is, and how they would like to be spoken to. Because it's not about you, it's about them, essentially. You're the messenger, you're Hermes, I think. You're Hermes. You're just delivering the message, but you have to do it in a way so it's actually received. Anyway, okay, so when I say to you that the client avatar makes a huge difference, like it's really, really important that you understand what role it plays. And usually when I explain it to, for instance, my coaching students, my copywriting coaching students, is I give them this story of the difference it makes when you know your prospect versus when you don't know them. So when I was about 19 years old, I saw this job advertisement. It was for a tax accounting practice, and at the time I really loved the idea of working in an office. I know, freaking crazy, especially because now I see that it's so much better to be a freelancer and have my own business and do my own thing and not have to be at work 9 to 5. And I guess that's probably where you are if you are looking for work like this, like copywriting, where you work remotely online and blah blah blah. So anyway, I saw this job and I completely fell in love with it. I was like, yes, I want to work as a tax accountant, whatever, I had no idea what I needed to get this job. I had no education in accounting. I actually left school at 16 and I was first interviewed by the son of the owner. And during the interview, he mentioned that, he grew up in Jamaica, even though, his parents are both Irish and he is Irish. His family just really loved to live in Jamaica. So from that story, I understood that his father liked to travel. I turned up for the interview with the father, and I knew it was going to be tough. When I kept speaking his language, I was literally turning this whole interview process to reflect onto him, to avoid him looking into the fact that I wasn't a great candidate. So we spent the whole hour talking about him and his travels and the things that he loved. Now you're thinking, why the hell are you telling me this story? Well, I did get the job in the end, and it turns out that all the other candidates had degrees in accounting and they had experience, and I was the one that stood out the most. How it relates to knowing your prospect. Because I was able to know a little bit about the person that I'm going to be speaking to, because when you think about it, an interview is a sales process, correct? You are essentially there to sell yourself as a good candidate. So I knew my prospect. I knew I had to sell myself to this guy, and I knew him and I spoke his language, and that's why I made the sale and I was able to get the job. Right? Now, if I had no idea who he was and I didn't use the information that I had to my advantage to connect with him, because essentially that's what you're doing, you're connecting with the prospect on a deeper level, right? So if I didn't have that, I would not have been able to connect with him. Now, how this translates to copywriting. When you have your client avatar and you have all the information about your prospect, you can use that to your advantage to write the copy in a way that speaks to them, that connects with them, because you're talking their language, you're talking about the things that they care about. You're basically weaving the product through the conversation in a way that positions the product as something that will fit into their world. So, okay, moving on. But I think that was nice. You got to know a little bit more about me, and also at the same time I was able to illustrate to you how knowing your client is going to help you write amazing copy. So basically, now I did promise you a freebie, and I always deliver on my promises. So you can download the full booklet that I give to my clients, and I give you my permission. I give you my permission to use this with your clients. Although it took hard work for me to create this, you get it for free. All you have to do is just click the link in the description below, you put your email address in, and then you get to download it. And the most amazing thing about this as well, it's like when you put your email address in, I'm gonna send you emails, but they're not spammy emails. They're actually more freaking tips and content on how to become a copywriter. So it's basically a double whammy. I mean, you would be silly not to sign up. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed it, as always, please subscribe. I love to have you here. I'm trying to create a community, and it's going great so far. Leave me a comment down below. As you can see, I respond to all of them because I like talking with you guys and I like hearing your opinion and helping you out. And don't forget to like this video. I mean, this is so important. It helps me out. It helps Google and YouTube to position my videos to reach more people so that I can help more people. Ta-da! Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.